Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we doing today? Looks like we already have our first guest. Morning. How
Hold on, I can't hear anything.
how are we
Okay.
doing today?
Yes, I can hear now. I've had the volume turned all the way down. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good. Chat. Yay.
So yeah, we have Missouri coming in,
Mhm.
and yeah. So people were just asking when we were going live, so I just shot them a text and said now.
Yep.
So yeah, people are just starting to get the Twitch notifications. So yeah. Hello, Winks. Thank you for the phone call.
Got my cushions.
What's that?
I'm just noticing that my cushions look to be in disarray on the live. I'm doing a little
Oh,
note
that's fine.
back there.
How's it going, Squirrely? Joe Glenn, welcome. Hello, Illinois.
Mhm.
So, everybody that was on the signal this morning, I told people that there is some good news. So, we're gonna jump into that very quickly and go from there. Hopefully, we can resolve that sooner rather than later. But I don't want to see Ariel's house. Okay. Clearwater, Florida. Welcome.
Oh, good. Makes me feel better.
North Carolina. Just drive safe, please.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Alex. But breaking probably about 8:30 this morning, we received notification that a congressman from Florida has passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of weird, but he's a Democrat. So it leaves another seat in the House of Representatives open. It is Donald Trump's district.
Yeah.
I believe the path forward that people are looking for isn't Donald Trump being restored to the White House, because I don't, until the court cases and all that stuff are litigated and are gone through, I do not foresee that happening. However, that is the bad side of it. However, here is the path forward that I foresee if it was me running the Republican Party. But the path forward would be put Donald Trump into Congress, appoint him to Congress, fill that seat, because that seat would deprive the Democrats of one more vote. And guys, we are only 4 away from having an exact split of the House of Representatives.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 Democrats right now that are currently in the hospital and fighting for their lives. Do I wish them harm? No. But sometimes I kind of wonder if they should just follow along the path of their colleagues. So, the path forward, I think Trump gets appointed or the special election he runs in Florida 20. And as soon as they run it, and as soon as he wins that seat, which sounds like he actually has a very good chance of winning it, even though it's a Democrat that's always won that seat in the last 27 elections. I believe that he has a strong possibility of winning that.
And wouldn't it would be worth it to possibly, concede the seat of the next Republican presidency to another Republican just to see the look on Nancy's face when Donald came in to the House as a House member.
And people they think it's so. What happens? Well, guys, even if the Republicans overtake the House by people dying or passing away, well, the same thing, or somehow get caught up in scandal and resigning, so on and so forth. Even if the Republicans were to overtake it, the House Majority Leader can only be elected one time every 2 years. So even if Nancy Pelosi does not have a majority, the actual majority, she is still the Speaker of the House. So what can happen? Well, articles of impeachment could be filed still, and all it requires is a simple majority. If Donald Trump went to the House, there would be 0 Republicans that would even dare to go the other direction and side with the Democrats.
Yeah.
0. So, do I think it's a plausible thing? Yeah, and all these Bondugal bills would be gone. They wouldn't pass because they need a majority to pass, and if they don't have that majority, sucks to be them.
Mm-hmm.
So, what happens? Well, Trump, quote unquote, then becomes what most people consider the majority leader. Even though he's not technically the majority leader, he would become the majority leader. And all these supposed bills that are going through, they'd be stopped on a dime. And then you'd have a year and a half of nothing being done in Congress. Once that's stopped, now it's just a Senate.
I'm sorry, I'm stopping that. I'm sorry. There we go.
And once the Senate stopped, or once there's no bills coming from the House, the Senate goes into a stalemate, and it is just the way it is. So you have a year and a half of Congress doing absolutely nothing. And Joe Biden, you have the speaker of the House, Nancy. She's basically a figurehead at that point. Then articles of impeachment are brought, simple majority. Those go in, and the process starts. And then I believe that you're going to actually start seeing people start to fall. So, do I think that they have a very? Have you heard if Trump has said anything about going for that seat? No, I have reached out to his team for comment, and we have not heard anything as of yet. But I can assume that we will be hearing an announcement made within the next day or so. So, Wicks, black SUV in front of the White House. We'll have to take a look at that.
Good, Tammy. I'm glad you got on.
So, yeah. But anyways, so that's kind of the path forward that I foresee once he takes control of the House. Then I foresee a big majority of people actually going back to the Trump playbook, which is kind of a nice little segue.
Mm-hmm.
So people were asking, well, people were asking about how does things work in regards to how do we take our country back? I posed a question on Signal last night, and I was actually wanting people to engage with it. How do we take our country back to a republic, a constitutional republic that we've lived in for many generations? Well, let's take the book, the Democrat playbook, and flip the script. See, the Democrats started back in the 1960s and really started hammering their policies. And they started at the local level. So they started in the PTAs, or the parent teacher associations. They took control of that. Then they went to the school boards, took control of the school boards. Then they went to the city, or the county, then the state, and then the federal government. That is how they built their platform from the ground up. Republicans have really been good about not doing that. They go after the power seats in Washington without having built the base that they need to stand on. The Democrats have been very, very good, and they are very good at keeping everybody going in the same line.
Yeah.
So,
what liberals seem to have on us is, as much as we want to fault them, and we can keep faulting them, don't get me wrong, but liberals have a self-control that we have not demonstrated. They have the patience to diligently work from the bottom. I mean, they have worked their way up. They coined the whole grassroots movement thing. It was always associated with Democrats before. It's only recently that grassroots movements has been an applicable term to the conservative movement. They have been doing this for years. They are good at it. That is their, like he said, that is their playbook. And we have, yes, they are the bottom. I was so going to say that, and then I just decided to not bottom feeders, to not go there. But thank you, Time, because it really needs to be said. But we need to take a leaf out of their book. They have been diligently working to change culture, and in doing so, change the political climate. And they have done that. We need to do the same thing. Change culture in your family, in your school, in your community, and then let it work its way out.
Yeah. And this was a scenario that was talked fairly extensively a few months ago. Might be a more powerful move for him. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because when you want to break it down, see, currently Congress and the Constitution they have term limit caps.
Mhm.
They can only have 2 consecutive terms. Period. Well, if he runs for Congress and gets the speakership and impeaches and there's a removal, guess what? He would ascend into the presidency again.
Mhm. Yes, because Speaker of the House is right after it's president, vice president, and then speaker, right?
Yep. That is
Yep.
the current chain of command
Mm-hmm.
or the succession.
Session. Yes. And if it
So,
doesn't worry you enough that uh, look at it this way. Right now, the current succession is Biden, Harris, Pelosi.
Pelosi.
If that is not enough to make you say, hey, maybe it's a good idea to get Trump in there ASAP, I think you haven't really thought that one through. And I think Trump will, honestly, I think Trump does have does have, I know humility is not something that we usually associate with him, but he does have enough humility, I think, to take a House seat and be right, just displace Pelosi within a couple of years. And it's not necessarily humility; it is planning. Um, so I know the idea of, well, he's not going to give up the presidency for that. He's a strategist. He might. He very well might.
Well, and Trump has always thought 6 to 9 steps ahead of everybody else. He's
Yeah.
kept himself out of a lot of danger because of it. Here's a part that people don't realize. You look at his bankruptcies. He always came out on top on his bankruptcies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Shane, how do you say that? Well, if you look at all his bankruptcies, they were actually filed by the Trump bank.
Mm-hmm.
Trump has his own bank. So if he filed bankruptcy, the federal government sends a massive influx to cover the supposed bankruptcy. Where does that money go? It's only lent out to Trump properties or to Trump businesses. So the bank is owned and operated by Trump, gives money to him, loans it out. The business idea don't work. So he folds the company. The federal government sends him a buttload of cash, and he's just as rosy clean as he was the day he started that business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And he is it is strategy, it is business strategy. And if there's one thing that he knows, it's strategy. He runs the country like a business. And it's about time somebody did, because businesses have bottom lines. And we have been in an appalling, spiraling inattention to the bottom line here in the last, and in the last probably 30, 40 years. That's a good question, Jamie. Now that the 60-day window is over, I'm not even sure what the dual presidency status is.
Yeah, that. So.
Mm-hmm. You should. You should. If you can, there are loopholes. Crawl right through it. There is nothing wrong with that. Honest to God, there's just not.
Yep. And I mean, I use those same loopholes, but It's just the facts of life. You just kind of focus on what is real and what is not. And when you are able to use the loopholes that are put out in the law, it's not illegal.
Exactly. It's not illegal. And honestly, as the head of a business, you have a responsibility to your shareholders to
Shareholders or employees.
to make that business profitable. And if making that business profitable includes using a legal method of avoiding paying some fee or tax or something, by golly, use it. You are supposed to do that. You have a responsibility to do that.
Could Don Jr. go for that seat? No, he actually lives in Miami-Dade, which is a different congressional district. So
he could go for presidency, though.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Presidency, Senate, so on and so forth. But yeah, we got to use whatever laws we're given to benefit ourselves, and we should. Absolutely.
Yes.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. Don't be the last Boy Scout or Girl Scout paying 100% of, of what the government thinks you owe them on your taxes. We use tax breaks and tax exemptions all the time. We do. Common people. We look for things to not have to pay taxes on when we file our taxes. Corporate taxes are no different. They have no responsibility to pay more taxes than they are required to pay. And a loophole is just another name for a legal tax break.
Whatever happened to Trump not being able to permanently live at Mar-a-Lago? So, funny story. So they had a city council meeting, and the city attorney said that they legally could not keep him from living at one of his own properties. So,
yeah, how is that working? Was it just like the community wanted him to not live there?
Yeah. Security reasons.
Oh, that's bullshit. I mean,
I know, but that's the excuse that they gave. But don't they replace a congressperson with Dems? No. So Florida law states that the governor is responsible to call a special election, and you'll probably see a meeting today between Ron DeSantis and Trump in regards to a special election, and then one will be called.
Really, yep. Oh, sorry.
He agreed not to live there when he took it over. However,
he owns it.
There's a caveat to it. For the city to sue him to uphold that agreement, it would cost them way too much money, so they just dropped it.
Yeah. And Squirrely, I understand what you're saying, but honestly, on principle, I gotta disagree with you on that. Pay what you owe, but not 1 cent more. What do you mean what you owe? Who decides?
Well, if after all your exemptions are exhausted, you pay what you owe. Whatever's left over, you just pay it.
Right.
And that's on principle. People want to say pay what you owe and then use that as an excuse to, oh, well, I don't owe anything because the IRS is dead, yada, 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 and they just leave it there.
Yeah.
But the point that people don't get, obviously, is that the IRS still has an enforcement arm.
Yes.
And they still have a lot of freaking power.
So I think personally, my like underlying tenet on this is that taxes in general are, I mean, it's soft theft. So my take on it is pay what will keep you out of prison and not a cent more. Because you don't owe that. That is your earning. You do not owe that to anyone. pay what will keep you out of prison. And don't ever look at it as owing something to somebody else. You don't.
Yeah.
They just have the ability to take it from you.
So would Secret Service go with him to Congress? So there's a whole bunch of different things that happen here. So President Trump is authorized to have Secret Service agents for life. It is just the way they are. However, he can opt out of receiving Secret Service protection. With the oversight of Secret Service, he can have his own protection detail that he selects himself from other sources. And from all reports, he has his own. They still have to have Secret Service oversight. So, yes and no. But yeah, so there's a whole bunch of things that are going on.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, Ariel, I think you're right. I mean, I'm sure Nancy has a little, Donald Trump shaped voodoo doll that she sticks pins in at night. But that's probably his. No. There's probably some grassroots, liberal, Antifa-esque sort of movements toward removing Donald Trump. So he probably does. I mean, I think he legitimately needs security. However, he also has the ability to purchase probably better security than
Secret Service.
Yeah. I mean, we look at government, we look at presidential benefits and lifestyle as like the highest that exists, but really, no. Donald Trump, he took a pay cut becoming president. He took a decrease in his lifestyle. I mean, have you seen the pictures of his
Been there.
apartment? Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
It is absolutely gorgeous. So to go from what he was, the opulence that he was living in before he became president, to now, it's just straight up crazy.
Yeah.
The guy lost like $2.5 billion as president.
Yes, because he was paying attention to bettering the country for the people who live there rather than to his business dealings and functions, which was incredibly noble. Is almost the word. Yeah, noble of him. I mean, if you look at how much it cost him to be our president, the fact that he's still willing to do it, that says a lot about his motivations. They are not monetary. He didn't make money by being president. He lost money. He lost lifestyle comfort. Really, has he got a golden toilet? That's how would you even scrub that? It's a soft metal.
It's plated gold. It's not.
It's like gold.
Yeah.
Porcelain.
It's a porcelain toilet that's plated in gold.
Okay.
And it is actual plated 24 karat gold.
Then again, how would you scrub that? Maybe when your toilet's plated in gold, you just have better bathroom habits than the rest of us. I don't know.
You just happen to have some really, really careful house cleaners.
Yeah. Because you can't buy skid marks away.
Yeah. No, Trump did in his New York. So, but yeah, he definitely had an opulent lifestyle. Like, we've
Yeah.
never seen before. So
Yeah. So unlike the people who came after him, and the people before him, the ascension into the seat of presidency was not an ascension for him. It was a descension. It was not a lifestyle improvement.
no, and people think that having the U.S. president, he became a more powerful person. That's not
No,
100% true.
no,
Money
because
buys
that's
power, and he
yes,
had a lot of it.
and as president, he has more checks on his power than he would as an independent businessman who can really go out and purchase people and loyalties if he needs to. He can't do that as president. He has to work within a system. I mean, it really curtailed his ability to affect change.
And like he said in the first presidential debates, he bought most of those politicians their seats.
Mm-hmm.
He was upfront about it.
Yep.
He was like, I donated big dollar amounts.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, anybody who is upfront and honest about buying politicians, you know they're being honest, because to come out straight up and claim that you bought their seat,
Mm-hmm.
while they can't claim it's a federal crime, most people, if you're on the left, would say that it rises to a moral crime
Mm-hmm.
in their book, because rich men are all bad, remember?
Right. Well, it's a moral crime when it's being perpetrated by the right. I mean, it depends on who's doing it, whether it's moral or not. And that's hypocrisy.
Did I say which congressmen are in the hospital? No, I did not. I am working on a list to let people know exactly which ones they are. But yeah, a 1031 exchange would be kind of like what you're looking at in regards to getting away with not paying taxes. Basically, takes a return of the investments that he had and rolls them into another project or investment within 60 days, I believe it is. Then there's no tax on the excise. There's no excise taxes and so on and so forth. But definitely talk to somebody who has more monetary knowledge in regards to any of that.
Really, I did not know that Ivanka and Jared didn't take a salary.
No, they were special advisors. They are not actually entitled to a salary. So, yeah, they were special advisors. They were not required, or they were not even entitled to a salary. So they did it free.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We didn't create the tax law. We just take advantage of it.
Yep. As should you. Everyone out there, you should be searching.
Get yourself a good CPA or a good accountant that knows what they're doing and will explain all the different tax advantages that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that we haven't seen is Ivanka and Jared. Yes. There's a specific reason for that.
You're going to tell us what it is?
Not at this time.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Never pay taxes as an LLC. Probably taxed as an S corp, because then there's no pass through. any pass-through income that goes into a personal account is taxable. If it's taxed as a sole proprietorship, you can be taxed on all pass-through income that comes through.
I don't know if this was asked or not, but what about the Senate seats of those who went to Gitmo? Seems like there's going to be more than one open. I don't know of any of them that have gone to Gitmo. I don't know that we have any record of anyone going.
No records as of yet. So until those records are either declassed or you start seeing them on a tribunals list,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is.
Well, and here's the thing: until they want to go ahead and be like, "Hey, everybody, we sent this guy and this guy and this guy to Gitmo," they're not going to be filling those seats. So we're gonna have to wait for those records to come out before we can even speculate as to who's gonna fill the spots.
Yeah.
But it's a good question.
Officially, no one has gone to Gitmo. Correct. Officially.
Mm-hmm.
Read yesterday, prisoners were moved to another area. They were moved out of Camp 7 to Camp Delta. There's a reason for it. Camp 7 was the site of it that was operated by clandestine services or the CIA, NSA, and DIA. And yeah, you take the alphabet soup and throw it all in there. They're the ones who ran Camp 7.
Okay, now DT, I'm gonna stir just a little bit and say, okay, massive job openings in Hollywood as everybody's gone. From what I can tell, CGI has gotten so darn good. They
don't need anybody there.
I was gonna say, do they even need anybody in Hollywood? They can just CGI the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, still there. Look at that gentleman that died that was in Fast and Furious. The one that played Brian.
I didn't watch Fast and Furious.
Oh, it's Brian. One of the main characters. They've CGI'd him. They CGI'd his face over his brother's face.
Oh wow!
He's been dead for several years, but they're still coming out with movies with his face CGI'd in.
But yeah, like Leia.
Paul Walker.
I didn't realize he had a brother. Wow.
Yeah. So there could be massive job openings, but nobody's going to fill them because they don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
Are we CGI now? I am very much real.
No, you think somebody's going to create this? Come on.
I mean, who would create something this ugly?
Right. But if we are CGI, I want them to fix these teeth.
Yeah, I mean, give me a break. But
Huma and Podestas are us. We have official records of. Is that Huma and Podestas are us?
Huma Abedin.
Okay, I am so behind.
That'd be interesting to see those, especially the 302 papers to back that up. So,
love to have that. Post that on the website. See how quick to take that one down.
Uma needs to take a long walk off of a very short pier. Yeah, I agree. So
these two. Sunday.
Jason.
DT, can you send those? Can you send those to Shane?
Hold on a second.
I don't know what that means. Desert. Rested on Easter. Rested here in Michigan. Well, good.
So I did a simple search, and
Hey, thank you. Thank you, David. Believe anyone could live crazy. My brother, retired marshal. What pill did I take? Actually, Big Bradston, that's a good plan. I mean, don't stop living your life. Do empower yourself to make changes, because here's the thing, whether all of this is a craziness or all of this is accurate, what we do know is that our government is despotic, and that needs to change, and we need to change it, and the way to change that is activity on the local front. Start small, work big. But what you can't do is let the promise of resolution later lull you into inactivity.
yeah. I'm taking a look at something. So but okay. Yeah. Even the sources that I'm hearing from are still saying we are still at DEFCON 4. So Mickey, we are at DEFCON 4, and that's coming from. So guys, when I talk to people, let's just say that the DEFCON level is set by NORAD. I know people at NORAD that literally deal with that. I know just a little bit about it. And yeah, we are at DEFCON 4 and we've been there for a while.
I have no idea.
I'm still scratching my head to figure out what that means.
Okay. If that's code, I'm not sure. I don't know it.
NORAD. Okay, so NORAD is a ground-based station. AWACS are airborne. AWACS, they do a lot of training, and they are the command and control centers in regards to battlefield situations. But when they do run, they are out there spinning up all over the country. So
Peaches, I don't know that we're saying that Trump isn't going to help us. I don't think that's what we're saying at all.
No, I just, guys, anybody saying that the battle's already won and all that, you really need to think about who does it absolutely sound like. If they're saying the battle's already won, just sit back and wait for the show to end. Does it sound like the Republican platform or the Democrat platform?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In all reality, we conservatives have always been hardworking people. We don't take crap from anybody, and we don't sit down and allow people to just lull us into sleep and complacency. By sitting there and saying that the battle's already won does not alleviate anything from the way people are. People need to have a path. Otherwise, 99 they go.
Yeah.
You have to give a path, and you actually have to set forth the agenda. If you don't, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
There's just a schism that spreads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And remember, if you hear something over and over and over again from the same people, just over and over, there's a good chance that it's propaganda, especially if it makes you feel better and complacent. Think about when it's storming outside and you're trying to get your child to go to sleep. What do you tell them? It's okay. It's all going to be okay. Don't worry. Just go to sleep. They are literally lullabying us into complacency, into sleep. This is not an accident. It is not an accident that they're telling us to just, the battle's already won, just sit back and do nothing. If we do that, I mean, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. If we do that, they don't even have to fight us. We took ourselves out of the fight. Trump is going to help us. He can help us, but God bless it. He's one man. He can't do it alone. It really is our responsibility to stand up and help our country if we want it. If our country is important to us, we will make it important to us. If it is not, we won't.
And it is, if it's not important to us, we deserve the tyranny in which we live in.
Yes. Now, I'm going to make a suggestion to everybody. This morning, after everything last night, and all the stuff that kind of was said, I decided that I needed to read my state's constitution. So I did. I got up this morning and I looked up my state's constitution. I'm gonna be honest, it's a bit of a dry read. It's 26 pages long, and I haven't gotten all the way through it. I think I'm on page like 16, 17, something like that. But every one of you has a state constitution. Read it. Go look it up and read it. Know what your state's rights are, and remember that states are sovereign. The federal government
is just a way to rule over a confederation of states.
Yes, the states are sovereign. That is what this country is designed to be, a collection of individual sovereign states. So your state is your tiny little country. Read what your laws are and don't take anything less than that. That is your state. Those are your laws. Know them. Go read them. Because you can't affect any change if you don't even know what your own laws are.
Can't stand Obama, but most of this is on us for abdicating our duty to hold our officials accountable or vote them out. Absolutely.
Yep. And I was thinking, and I can cast a stone really because I'm not unemployed and I haven't been this year in healthcare. There's not a whole lot of unemployment going on in healthcare this year. But if you are out of work, if your job has been eliminated or replaced, or you distance working isn't practical for you, run for local office. Grassroots run it. Don't spend money on the campaign, just run for local office. Do something that will empower you to make change, make real change. And if you're honestly, if you are struggling with needing a profession right now, run for office. Look into the mayorship, look into the county commissionership.
Start even at the local PTA.
Yeah.
Because conservative ideals have to be actually presented. Right now, it's you have your liberals and your left wing activists that's all they are doing. They're pushing the Common Core. They're going all the way, and they don't care.
No, they're heard because they're vocal. We're not. If we want to be heard, we have to be vocal. And okay, so there's a question on there. Hey guys, I really liked your take on the whole Arkansas State Board of Pharmacy situation. Please give those Democrats a piece of your mind. That is fantastic. I don't know the Arkansas State Board of Pharmacy situation. Do you know what that is in reference to, Shane? Or
I haven't really heard about that, so I'm gonna have to look into it.
Yeah, so Donnie, we're not, or Dr. Ronnie, rather, we're not ignoring your question or your comment. We just
I'm gonna have to circle back on that.
Yeah. We're gonna do a redheaded circle back.
So what are your thoughts on cancel culture? I just got fired from my job for a 2013 DUI. Join the club.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at a pharmacy. I lost my job because of my refusal to get a vaccine and my not so kind words about the mask policy at my job. I literally they were not very kind to me about it, but you know what? It's called stand your ground. Don't allow people to push you around.
Mm-hmm. And cancel culture is just it's just social
justice for
no, it's a socially acceptable form of bullying. That's all it is. It's a method of making bullying okay, and it's not okay.
And I mean, quite honestly, guys, it's the way the left is weaponized language.
Okay. Yeah, it is. They have heavily weaponized language. Okay, so I'm not sure 17 clarified on his comment. He was relating to the demise and the height of American citizens and how the beans picking community may lose in the long term. Okay, that may be another one we have to do a redheaded circle back on, because I'm still not. I don't
go Australia to see the demise of the great power of the United States at the hands of powerless ladymen in dresses is truly distressing. It truly is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, was someone taken to the hospital yesterday? I didn't realize that.
I'm going to start working at county elections. That's a start. Being a part of the solution. So people say that things look up. Well, I don't pay attention to too much, but when when I do tell people that I now I have more work that I know what to do with, and quite honestly, I'm fine with it. People know that I'm going to stand up for what's right.
I'm not sure when you say, do you believe Arkansas to hold all power? Are you, is that a reference to,
The states hold the power, and only the only rights the federal government has is that which are deemed or under the Constitution, and any power that is not enumerated therein is dictated to the states.
yes,
That is how the Constitution reads.
yes. So we believe that it is stated that the states hold all the power and therefore do hold all the power, except those powers that the states and the people in them voluntarily
Give up.
hand over to the federal government. So if you don't want the federal government usurping all your power, don't give it to them.
Yep. Okay, so going back to something that we discussed yesterday, there was somebody that was taken to the hospital. It was one of the staff members within the White House that was bit.
Again?
So
I thought they said the dogs couldn't come back because they were biting people.
Oh, and they are starting to find they're still finding puddles in the Oval Office,
Well, are those really the dogs?
and the dogs are not there. That was on CNN this morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we already know where the puddles are coming from.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
Oh, I did say CNN. CNN actually was saying that they were finding puddles in the Oval Office, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Mm-hmm. But you know what that means, though. This is mainstream media starting to hint at Biden being
Oh yeah,
incompetent. That means that they are so readying the American public for
they're getting ready for a 25th Amendment claim.
Yeah, that's what this is. Because honestly, if they didn't want, they wanted Harrison. Harris was always their pick. Harris was unelectable, but she was their pick. So the strategy then is have her ride somebody else's coattails in, who they can then
Well, that's how she's always gotten it.
But yeah, well, nobody likes her. I mean,
well, she spent more time on her back than she spent on her butt.
Mm-hmm. And she was in her record. I don't know why they like her. Her record for prosecuting, her record for prosecution is heavily biased against the African American community. I mean, why in the world did they elect her? Did they select her? I guess maybe they knew they could deceive the public enough to get her in, but I still don't understand. I don't understand what their motivation for that was, other than that she is a smarmy, money-grubbing opportunist and fits in really well at the upper echelons of the government.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're readying us for a 25th movement.
No, I actually seen it on their website. So when you see it on their website, it kind of makes it look a lot more real. Yep, they wanted people prepared for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So her Maxwell were definitely friends. And they've already
Yeah. Oh, time for truth. Are you talking about like the hooker hose on the first lady over there? Yeah, that's not a good look.
yeah. But yeah, I don't believe those pictures are in any way, shape, or form. I don't. Oh wow. Wicks, can you get me an article for that? Give me a second.
Melania is pretty darn classy, isn't she?
Just on Newsmax.
Excuse me.
I'm just trying to pull up that story. So
I did see a little thing before we went live about a shooting at like near Fort something. Dietrich? Was it near Fort Dietrich?
yeah, I'm looking. Oh, right there.
Was it Dietrich?
I'm gonna pull it up.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Yep.
The 38-year-old Navy hospital corpsman was shot by personnel at Maryland military base Tuesday morning after he shot and wounded two people at a nearby business park. So
Mm-mm. That's heartbreaking. I mean,
yeah,
first brush of the information, there's nothing to be other than heartbroken that it took place. Mm.
they were talking about that shooting before the live. Yeah, they were, and I apologize. I did not catch that.
Sorry.
Yes, they killed the shooter. We and right now we don't know. There's still not going to. There's not enough information out for people to know.
I will say, Bruce, is that Lachlan? That as if it has anything to do with ergot and the vaccine, our vaccines they're manufactured. They're not grown, so any ergot that's in it would be a purposeful contaminant, theoretically. And I don't know that has anything to do with it whatsoever. I'm just saying, because we don't use like any sort of grass based or rice based anything in our vaccines, right? Because the ergot is that not a mold that grows on rices and things like that, grass grains?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donnie or Dr. Ronnie. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're tracking a few different developments. If we do hear more information in regards to those developments over the day, we will update you guys. Okay. I'm not okay, so
Subscribe.
people are wondering a little bit. So yeah, we are so yeah, we're on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. I don't post a whole lot on Facebook, just giving you guys a heads up. And then if people want to email us, Jason or myself, there's our email addresses. You can go ahead and email us.
Yeah, Facebook can't ban anymore. I forgot about that.
What
The
do you
whole
mean?
wasn't there was something that came out just this morning about Facebook, about it being determined that it is basically just making it illegal. Facebook cannot censor speech. It is illegal or unconstitutional. Which, I mean, we always knew it was unconstitutional. I believe the ruling of this morning, or yesterday or something, makes it so that they cannot.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Video from last night was removed. No, it wasn't. I did have people watch it, so I'll send you a link. I'm not sure who you are, 17, but I think I hope you're finding your own way.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, 17, that's the first question that you have that I really can't create a relevancy to the conversation and use it to actually promote good information. If you want to try a different question, we might be able to work with it.
I will definitely check that out because somehow in all the craziness of things that have been going on this morning, I missed it. So I apologize, guys. I will go and take a look at it. So so
Just to see. Constitutional.
so
Well, good.
huh, that's interesting. Josh, I don't believe it's going to happen. If you watch last night's show, I can you can actually see the full extended version of why I don't believe it's going to happen. So yeah, the long and the short of it is they've been talking about it since before January, and okay, so EBS, the emergency broadcast system, that's what they're asking about. So yeah, if you really truly want to know my full opinion, I literally did almost an hour long monologue in regards to that whole what people are saying. When you start ripping the mask off of all that, people get upset, but they come back.
Quantum financial system.
I don't. I don't. Pretty much anything in regards to the whole Q movement out there, I don't pay attention to it. I mean, I paid attention to it for a while because it seemed like it was relevant. But after a while, I started seeing similarities of people being lulled to sleep and being confused and taken care of and lulled into complacency. And I believe that the whole thing was a massive psyop. People could say it was the white hats, but nobody really knows who is the puppeteers at the top, pulling the strings of the Q movement. But the same is literally the same playbook replayed over and over and over, and the goalpost just keep moving.
Yeah.
And it's wrecking marriages, it's wrecking families. We, I just as far as the Q, the whole thing, it is a massive psyop, and people are continuing to believe it.
So I think, and uh, I think another answer to that question that's more focusing on the financial aspect of it is that we feel like the quantum financial system is irrelevant. Put your money into metals. Whatever they're going to do with the quantum financial system, they're going to do with it. If you want your funds, your hard-earned money to retain its value, invest it into something that is a tangible asset, metal, land, something like that. That's what I feel about the quantum financial. Except silver, not silver time. What's oh, except silver. All right. Yeah, buy silver. Oh, I'm not sure. We'll have to circle back to you on that one too.
Yeah. So, yeah, anyways. If you turn
Oh, Dr. Ronnie, yes, absolutely. That's been the first question that I saw from him way back when about the bean counters was kind of a, gosh, this is a troll. But it was usable to get a better point across. But at this point, I think he's just, I don't know, he's just spinning. But you know what? Hey, trolls need some love too.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, guys, what's my opinion? I addressed this whole thing yesterday on the YouTube. So if you look at my yesterday evening broadcast, I literally address this question in depth. If you would just take the time, just go watch it. It'll be well worth your time.
Mm-hmm.
Is Biden using Air Force One?
Well,
Not
according to Biden, he's been
designated
using it the whole time. Does Biden know he's not using Air Force One? That's the question.
Biden doesn't know where he's going half the time, so, or even a quarter of the time.
Mm-hmm. You're right, Mickey. You're right. He had plenty. But here's the thing. A troll will remain a troll because unless you inform someone, you can't hold them accountable for not knowing. So he was around long enough to become informed. Now what he does with that information is his responsibility. If he wants to continue being a troll, he can go be a troll someplace else. Or if he wants to actually learn from that information, he now has some information to learn from. But if we don't let him stick around at least a little while, we can't even claim that we're trying to wake people up. Although it does really get tedious, you're right.
That takes money. And I haven't quite got there yet, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And you know, there's nothing wrong with keeping this kind of a low budget kind of deal. I mean, this is not a money-making enterprise.
No, I lost money at it.
Yes, this is an information campaign.
For me, it's been a lost leader. So, but it doesn't matter if he knows what's going on if he's on board an aircraft. It's not designated. Okay, so every president, when they step on Air Force One, it is usually designated as AF1. on the flight radars and all that. It has yet to be designated AF-1, period. Yes, and it doesn't matter what aircraft he sets foot on. They always give it the designator AF-1. None of the aircraft that he has been on has ever had that aircraft designator.
Squirrely, he just lost his job. Give him a break. Are we talking about?
He's talking about me.
Oh, okay.
She's talking about
I was
me.
like, do you know the troll? Oh my gosh, it's terrible. Okay. Yes.
No, Josh, we were talking about somebody else. So
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about Godzilla and King Kong guy.
Felt bad for Biden when he fell down the stairs. Well, if Trump stopped hitting those golf balls, I guess he probably wouldn't fall.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and you're right. You're right, Bruce. He doesn't deserve to be injured. But I will point out that nobody pushed him.
Yeah.
It's not like somebody was doing that to him.
And guy, as for why not, nobody really knows. I've talked to people in the Air Force. I've talked to people in the Pentagon. Nobody knows why the designator has not been used at all since he has been the president. We don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody does.
Mm-hmm. But it's certainly an indicator that somebody in a position of authority does not seem to feel it necessary to designate his aircraft as the aircraft that is carrying the current president. Wonder why that is. You have to interpret that for yourself.
Yeah, we'll have to look at it. Or, I mean, everybody.
Yep.
So, but guys, as always, like I've said many times before, you guys have a pen and a microphone. Use them. The silent majority can no longer stay silent. God bless you guys. God bless the United States of America. We will see you at 7 p.m.